Hey guys, Joe from Joe K Models here. So before I get started with the bench update vlog, I just wanted to give a little bit of a preface. So I was able to recover the footage that I had recorded that would have been before the last update, where I was basically taping up the fuselage, and also where I was showing how I was fixing the headrest part of the canopy, where I got it to sit flush against there. So I didn't want to just waste that footage. What I decided to do was I decided to tack that on to the end of the regular update that you're about to see right now. So if you're interested in seeing that, that's why this video is going to be longer. I'll put a timestamp in the description if you want to check that out. But otherwise, I'm going to show the normal vlog update, and then I'll tack that one on to the end of it. So anybody that's interested can stick around. So thank you so much. I apologize for the technical issues. I guess this is my bonus DVD feature, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. Thanks again. Hello, Joe from Joe K Models here. So we've got everything pretty much assembled as far as the main assembly is concerned. I've put the wing on. The wing on went on pretty good. I don't even think we require filling here. Maybe a little bit there. But I'm going to be getting to work on trying to do some things with this seam line. I think for the top I'm going to be using milliput because it's a pretty substantial gap there, as you can see, and I've had some success with milliput in the past. I'm going to be doing a pre-scribing before I do that, just because I've found that in the past when I do a scribe before I do the filling, it's easier to rescribe it after I sand it and everything. So I'm going to be working on that pretty soon. I got the wing assembled here, so this is gonna basically go on like this. And I did a little bit of sanding on here and on the wing to make this fit a little bit better. And I got it pretty close. So I think that's gonna work out pretty good. Especially once I get some super glue on there, I'll probably be able to fill that gap pretty good. So all in all, it's working out pretty good. Also got the engine. I'm about ready to start doing this. I'm torn whether I want to paint it gunmetal or if I'm going to do like a black primer and then maybe a flat aluminum and then maybe do a wash with a Tamiya black accent. But yeah, this piece right here, it's got a little bit of a key there that you fit in here. It fits okay, not great, but it is what it is. It's not too much. And then there's another key right there, and that's just gonna fit in like so. And then you'll have that. Then you have this piece here that will fit over the top like that, and all of that fits together really well. So no complaints on that, so that shouldn't be too difficult. It looks like you have to drill out the hole here to attach the propeller. So I'll be looking a little bit at that pretty soon as far as painting and all of that is concerned. I did have a question. I was kind of looking up some information and trying to figure out some references to the Wildcat, and this is going to be the Wildcat that's in the Pacific Ocean, Guadalcanal era. So the primer for this, now I know that the cockpit is this green color. Actually, it was, what they say is it was a little bit of a brighter color than interior green, but I know this was the green. And then on the inside they had a Grumman gray that they used, so I'm actually thinking about making this a little bit more gray, even though the instructions called out for white, I believe. But as far as these interior parts, like this part here and this part on the inside as well as where the flaps go. I've been trying to figure out what color these should be. In the directions it says interior green, but the more I look into it, it looks like it might be the gray color. So I was wondering if any of our resident experts knew what color these should be, if it should be the green or if it should be the gray. Because the directions seem to say that they should be green, but the references that I'm finding online kind of say that the Grumman did it gray, and then when the car company took it over, General Motors, I believe, they used interior green. So I'm not sure 100% what to do. And the models online, I see them done both ways. So if anybody has any insight on that, chime in the comments and let me know, because I'm getting kind of closer to painting, and if anybody knows that, I would appreciate it. One last thing before I go, one of the cool things about this and having all the options is I have extra pieces. So if you do like the wings up, then you have like, you have extra wing pieces. So I think when I get to the painting, and I have some different ideas about how I want to paint it, I'll have some extra pieces to do some tests. So this is going to be a good thing to kind of experiment with and maybe try a few different techniques on it. So I guess, you call it like a paint mule. So once I get to that point, we're going to be able to try a few different things on here. And then once we get to that point, so if you ever have extra pieces, I wouldn't just get rid of them. I mean, there's always a use for a lot of the stuff, especially like an extra wing. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with that. You can try different painting, you can try a different weathering technique that you may not be familiar with before you actually put it on your model. So I got a couple pieces like this from this kit because you have so many options that I'm going to keep around, and just wanted to bring that up because that might be helpful to somebody, especially if you're trying something new. I mean, who cares if you don't do your best work on there, so all right, well, I hope everybody's staying safe during these times, and appreciate you checking out my vlog. Please subscribe and leave a comment, like if you like this type of content, and appreciate everything. Everybody take care of themselves. I'll see you on the next episode. Joe from Joe K Models. Hello, Joe from Joe K Models. Alright, so I've got the fuselage put together here. As you can see, I used tape, Tamiya tape, to hold everything together. Everything fit together pretty good. Not many complaints with that. It didn't fit together perfect. As you can see behind the cockpit, there is a little bit, this is coming forward a little, so I might have a solution for that. As far as the main fit goes, there was a little bit of a gap, but just using a lot of pressure, I was able to get it sealed. I'm about ready to take the tape off, but I just used the extra thin cement. And what I did was I just basically put a little bit and had it run down the length of the seam, and then just went piece by piece, holding it together. And then once I got far enough along, I put a piece of tape over, and I just did that all through the aircraft. To do the tail, I was able to use a clamp here to hold that together, so that's how I did that. And then once you have the thin cement running along the seam lines, when you press down, what ends up happening is you get a little bit of a bead of cement that comes up, and you can kind of see it right here, right by the tail. There's a little bit of white there, and that's the glue. As it's curing, it comes out a little bit and it creates that bead. And why that's helpful is that when I go to sand the seam line later, that's going to act as a natural filler. So we'll see if I need to use any filler or not, but what that'll do is that'll help me with that. I might not even have to use that. So that's a good thing when that happens. And I like the fact that the Airfix kit uses this color of plastic, because I can really see that white line pretty good. As I was doing it, I was quite happy with that. I got the windows in here, that's all taken care of, and I use thin cement on the windows too. You can use thin cement on the windows if you're very careful. I do actually have, let's see here. I do have this stuff as well. This is like testers, clear part cement. You can use this, and I think you can use this regular white glue to not fog it. But I did use the Tamiya extra thin for the windows, and if you're very careful, you can just barely touch it and it will seal it around. But again, if you're not sure, you're just starting out, I would probably use one of the other options. So I'm going to try using this super glue here. Get some there. Now I'm going to use an accelerator. I'm going to spray it on here and then I'm going to touch it with the toothpick. Push this in with my fingernail, and I'm going to touch. Hopefully that should freeze it. Alright, now that we have it frozen into the right spot, I'm just going to apply a little bit more super glue around the edges. And this should hold it into place. There we go. So that actually worked out pretty good. So again, this Instaset, you can, if you have a couple hands to use, you can put the super glue on, you can press this against here, and then with a toothpick and the Instaset you can touch it and it'll freeze it into place. So if you have something that's like kind of flaring out, doesn't want to bend correctly, I tried using a rubber band to pull it back, but I just couldn't get the tension that I needed. So this was kind of my last resort to do this, but seems to have worked out pretty good. Everything is in place now. I'm just going to let this dry. I'm going to be taking the tape off of it, and then I'm going to be starting on the main assembly of the wings and the back rudder and everything like that. So stay tuned for the next edition on my workbench. This is Joe from Joe K Models, and talk to you soon.